Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now the end of January of 2022, and as we get closer to the Book of Boba Fett Chapter 5, which by the way debuts this upcoming Wednesday, a lot of Star Wars fans are also getting very excited for the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series marketing run, which by the way all begins in mid to late March, so we don't have that much further to go until we get to see first looks at Obi-Wan Kenobi, new footage, etc. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, I am on Twitter at Mike01 if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. I do post a couple of entertaining things from time to time and really make sure to interact with you guys further. So what's even all the more exciting now is that we are getting closer to the end of the Book of Boba Fett, alright? We know that there's a lot of surprises coming our way for Chapter 5. I will admit that the first 3 chapters have been an up and down emotional roller coaster for some fans out there, especially Chapters 1 and 3 by Robert Rodriguez, which a lot of fans seem to have had issues with, especially Chapter 3. Now, when we look at everything related to what's in store by Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, George Lucas, and others out there, we already know that they are working on a handful of Star Wars TV shows, be it animated or live action, whatever have you. And we also have a lot of new Star Wars films in the works that Bob Chapek will unveil at Celebration this year. Now, hopefully Celebration does not get canceled because so far it's looking like it's going to be the best event under Disney's wing, and if not the best celebration overall under Disney's wing since they took over or bought out Lucasfilm back in, of course, 2013 essentially, or 2012. Now, the thing is, when we look at everything related to Bob Chapek, he's been making a lot of drastic adjustments behind the scenes the past couple of months to really regulate the Star Wars universe, to really make sure that things are staying on track, things are working out, and, well, now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are focused on their new Star Wars universe with new TV shows that will be announced by this May at Star Wars Celebration, it's noted that both Jon and Dave Filoni are also getting close to wrapping The Mandalorian Season 3. However, it's described that recently Disney CEO Bob Chapek made the ultimate decision to cancel a handful of Star Wars movies suddenly behind the scenes over at Disney and how it's going to impact the Star Wars roadmap for the upcoming projects. Now, essentially, Chapek had recently made the important call to completely halt and end any further plans for one of the new trilogies that were in development by Kathleen Kennedy and greenlit by Kennedy some time ago. This was going to be the new High Republic trilogy of movies that were going to be released on Disney Plus instead of them coming out into theaters. Chapek recently finalized the plans to cancel this trilogy entirely and doesn't want anybody else picking up the project as he is aware that not many fans really enjoy the High Republic era of Star Wars. So the thing about the High Republic, in case you guys have been unaware about this, is that the High Republic takes place roughly at the very beginning, 200 years before The Phantom Menace, and it goes all the way up until, give or take, 80 to 60 years before Episode 1, before that era ends. What comes after that is a mystery. There's another, more small-scale era that takes place after the High Republic that we're going to be learning about a little bit later this year that fills in the gaps between that and Episode 1. But that's, of course, what the Acolyte is going to focus on. It's going to focus on the end of the High Republic era. The thing about this that is actually quite, apparent is that Kathleen Kennedy really does not care about Star Wars fans, and we're going to get into that in just a second as to why this is living proof that she does not know what Star Wars really is, and how even the title itself is completely ignored by Kathleen Kennedy. We already know that the High Republic books and comics and the novels have really not been doing all that well, or have not been well received by at least the fans, especially the hardcore fans. There are people out there that enjoy the books, and that's fine. If you guys like the High Republic, hey, we're all human beings, we have our opinions, and that's fine. You can express that below in the comments, but myself and a lot of people out there, the majority of Star Wars fans, really do not enjoy everything related to the High Republic at all. So, moving on from that, alright, the cancellation of this trilogy was decided by Bob Chapek for many reasons. One of which was the fact that this trilogy was aiming to be a new Star Wars trilogy with no wars and would strictly focus on peace and would even feature Yoda's life as a Jedi during this era. The HR trilogy was also going to feature characters such as Geode the Rock, who holds hyperspace capabilities, that was going to be explored in the new movies. Now, Disney's CEO wanted to also end this, given that these movies were going to be considered small-scale movies, with few characters, and how it just also wouldn't have worked by releasing a whole trilogy on Disney Plus for fans to actually witness. Now, Chapek does, however, have plans for standalone films to arrive on the Disney Plus platform, aside from what's planned to drop in theaters. But Disney is not ready for Disney Plus to be the home of the release of a brand new trilogy. The HR trilogy was going to feature other characters that also have not been seen in comics or books, and would have been used as symbols of the real-world issues happening in the world today. Kennedy even wanted to focus on things like climate change on specific Star Wars worlds in the HR trilogy, and how it affects different species, and how the Jedi would attempt to intervene from, of course, certain technology and destroying it on other worlds. The new trilogy was more about the Jedi focusing on world issues instead of enemies or war that was set against them. These movies by Kennedy were in the pipeline for years, until recently when Chapek decided to end all of them. As of now, Kathleen Kennedy is described to be very angry over the fact that Chapek canceled the new trilogy of films that would explore the Jedi and Yoda during the HR era. Now, it's something that Kennedy has been planning for years, given that she no longer has creative power that was canceled by Bob Chapek now. So here's another thing that I think a lot of fans need to absolutely know as to why Chapek decided to cancel the High Republic trilogy, is that it was a small-scale trilogy. And what does that mean? Well, it was going to have fewer worlds, fewer characters, fewer scenarios that were going to be compared to the prequels and the originals, and even the sequel trilogy at that. It was going to be a very small-scale trilogy and low budget at that, with no wars, focusing on real-world issues like climate change and stuff like that. It just does not make sense at all, in my opinion. If they want to focus on that in like maybe one issue on a comic book, okay, I can maybe understand that, but to have a whole trilogy focus entirely away from the meaning of the title Star Wars and have no wars at all in a whole trilogy is ludicrous, in my opinion. When you look at everything related to Kathleen Kennedy, right? This is a person that does not really understand Star Wars. This is a person that either A, is completely oblivious from the fact of what the fans want, or either another scenario is that she's doing this on purpose and just does not care about what the fans really want to see, you know, either at home or on the big screen. And this was another prime example of a project that was in limbo, that was still greenlit for a very long time, and now it has finally been finalized by Bob Chapek that these movies are not going to be happening at all whatsoever, at least in the form of a trilogy, and also at least in the form of it being small scale on Disney Plus. Now again, what we saw in Star Wars Eclipse, that new video game, those cutscenes kind of give you a nice reimagining of the High Republic era. It shows you a bit more of a struggle, a bit more of the good versus evil type of aspects, and that's what the High Republic should focus on, not what we see in those books, those comics, etc. So overall, guys, you know, let me know what you think about all this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.